All right, guys, we got another security box. No matter how many of these I do, you guys keep coming back, but I think this one is going to be a little bit of a surprise. This is the Amazon Basics portable security case. It comes in two sizes. This one is the XL, and they have one that's a XXL, which is about an inch larger in each dimension. This little guy, I got to tell you, it is very nicely done. It's made out of steel, not super heavy steel, but for $22, I think you'll agree we probably get our money's worth on this thing. Amazon Basics logo right here on the front. And one of the things I always like to look at are fit and finish. Now, it is very aerodynamic, very rounded, no sharp edges, and that's good. But you notice we have a little gap here. There's a lip inside of there to prevent you from sticking a screwdriver in the front, but all four corners of this are vulnerable. They're open. And when we open it up, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we got a wide gap on that side, fit and finish. This side fits pretty tightly. You could pry it, but this is the easy target here. Going around the edges, again, powder coat finish on this thing. Very nicely done all the way around. On the back, we have a full-length hinge with a hinge pin. There are 5 spot welds on each side, and these little dimples are simply to align it during assembly. But I counted from the inside 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom, so drilling out your hinge is probably not going to be the fastest way to get into this thing. The hinge pin itself, again, they've done a good job of half burying the hinge pin so we can't knock that out of there. I've only found one of these where that was one of the vulnerabilities. This one is protected like that. On the bottom of this guy, we have 2 holes, and this is where I start to wish we had a little bit more. You could always drill them. I wish there were holes in each corner, because when you put it in opposing corners like this, that allows me to start prying from one corner kind of as a lever to lever it up off of whatever you've bolted it or screwed it down to. But if you got it in all 4 corners, it's a little bit harder. On this side, we also have a cutout for a chain, which I'll show you in just a minute. Again, very well thought out and pretty useful for what the intended use of this is by the people who've actually bought it and left reviews. The lock itself, let's take a look at this. These little 3-digit combination locks have been just a never-ending source of disappointment. We've got the unlock knob here. Obviously, this thing is locked up. So let's talk about these. I've done some pretty obvious attacks on these, but let's do some of the not so obvious ones. When I find a combination lock like this, the first thing I like to do is just grab a wheel and test it. Just jiggle it back and forth to see if any of them have a wider gate than any of the others. In other words, the swing is quite a bit more than any of the others. Now, this one has a ball bearing that's pushed in place with a spring, so these all have an equal amount of play. They kind of click into place. So in that respect, they've done a good job on this one. One of the places they haven't done a good job makes it vulnerable to this next attack. On this next attack, I like to take and push down on the wheel. Now, in this case, you can feel a very slight spring as it pushes against that ball bearing, which holds that wheel in place. Just rotate it around, test each of them, and it shouldn't take that long until eventually you're going to find one like this guy, that springs quite a bit more. And that tells you beneath this part of the wheel, in this case trying to read through the camera, number 6 here, that there's a gap underneath him. So let's leave him, and let's check the rest of these guys. Looking for a little bit more of a downward direction here. And there we go. See how it just mashes down quite a bit more? I think that's it right there. Let's double check though. Yeah, should have stopped when I was ahead. See how much more vertical play there is in that wheel? So we lined it up with 6, 7, 8. So I suspect our gates are now perfectly lined up. Now, when we would attack it, all we would do, we'd turn this obviously, and it's not open. We've aligned the gate, but it's not in the right place. It's got to be in a certain position on that to align with the unlock bar, and we would rotate these one at a time. But before we do that, let's go with a third attack, because I'm not really sure that was the right one. Let's take our feeler gauge like we always do and slide him in here. And what we're doing, I'm just going to hold him in place and rotate the wheel until it falls into a gate. And there it is right there. So 6 was right. Again, put in the wheel, and there it fell into the 7. And you can see it's so deep, I'm able to move that wheel with the gate. So 6, 7, and I think the last one was 8. And there it is, 8. So 6, 7, and 8 was right. We found it with 2 different attack methods. All right, now what are we going to do? Well, obviously we know it doesn't work. So let's go ahead and rotate them once. So let's make it 5, 6, 7. It's easy to read right there. Try it again. And all we're doing is trying to move it sequentially to line up with the correct gate. Or to line up the gates with the locking bar. And there we go. All right, we got to open. Now let's take a look at the inside of this guy. Inside, lined with foam on both sides. It is not secured down, it's not glued, but that's okay. You can fit more stuff if you take that foam out of there. When we take a look at the lock, though, notice that we got 2 weaknesses here. First of all, this lock is held in place with a single clip right here, and it's pretty thin gauge metal. So if we were to stick something in and try to pry this, and we could easily do that, we could break that clip and that would pop out. The other thing I'm not too hot about is this is rectangular in shape. The entire lock is made out of potted metal. So even if we take the clip off, pop that out, it's going to be really difficult to replace this core with one that's quite a bit more secure, like a Medico or Abloy or something like that. So we're really stuck with this 3-digit combination lock. On the inside of the box, we have lips on the sides. We have no lip on the corner on any of the 4 corners. The front is protected as well, but there's nothing in there to shim. Even if you were to go up inside of there, unless you have that dial to the right combination, that little lever is just not going to move. So prying attack or picking it very quickly. So why do I say that this is useful? Well, it's a very nice steel box. It's only 22 bucks. It is lockable. It's large enough to fit. You could put medications or things like that inside of it to keep them away from those prying hands. Or what most people seem to be using this box for is to transport a handgun when they're flying. You're required by the FAA to have a lockable box. A lot of them are much more than $22. So you get a steel box, perfectly lockable, and it's large enough to fit a large handgun with extra magazines. Lock that down inside of your suitcase. And since you have this steel cable, you could even wrap this around something inside of your suitcase so that nobody's just going to pick up your box with the handgun in it and walk away, because you've got it actually tied to the inside of your suitcase. So that's what people are using this thing for. It is quite a bargain for 22 bucks if that's your intended use. If you're going to be storing other valuables like jewelry or cash or things like that, probably not a good idea with this guy, given the vulnerabilities that this thing has. Anyway, guys, there you go. The Amazon Basics Portable Security Case. Let's talk about the giveaway. This, as I said, is probably going to cost more to ship it than it's worth. So instead, the giveaway this week will be one of the Lock Lab pinning trays. I'm going to give away, this is a lock that was donated by the Lockpick Shop, a training lock 5-pinner, and a Southord C1500 lockpick kit. That's the giveaway, and I will pay to ship this anywhere in the world if you're the lucky winner. Appreciate your time, guys. Stay safe. Stay legal. All you need to do is navigate to locklab.com, the tribal website, and scroll down in the middle of the page. You'll see all the giveaway buttons, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But the one you're looking for is the Weekend Review giveaway, purple band. Just click on it. It'll take you to the registration page. Again, scroll to the bottom, put in a good email address, so if you win, I can get in touch with you, let you know. Put in a username, doesn't matter what it is, and click Submit. When you're done, you'll get a green check mark confirming your entry. Thanks, guys.